All right, so here's the first clip. This is week 2. Week 2, we run split side, inside zone. Okay, pre-snap. We got 3 for 3 out there. Quarterback doesn't like it. Guys are right around 8 to 10 yards. Okay, this isn't our ideal spacing. This is again week 2. Ideally, we'd like our number 2 receiver split a little wider. We want to stretch the field obviously horizontally. Our base alignments for our receivers are outside guys are 5 yards from the sideline. Inside guy is 6 yards from the tackle. And then the number 2 receiver would split the difference, just on base alignment. For whatever reason, he lined up a little tighter than normal. And he doesn't do his job, you see on this play. This is pre-snap, he knows we're running it. Okay, so it's just run. Receivers don't know the difference. They're going to do their job, and our receiver here should be blocking most dangerous man. All right, so he should be coming off the line, slow, reading whichever safety's going to run the bubble.
Because this was completely new for these guys at beginning of the year, we didn't really feel like we didn't get in maximizing our tempo and being aligned, as you can see correctly, until when we say week 6, I think it was against Stoughton, where you can kind of see everything kind of click at that point. And we really felt like it was going to take off. And all the years of coaching, when Tim and I got there, we were fortunate enough to be able to coach in the All-Star game in 2013. We said to Coach Beck, this like day 1 when we coached, I'm like, this feels like an All-Star week. We had 33 seniors this year, and so and the reason I tell you that is we felt like we had the talent, but they didn't really feel like they were kind of. And I heard Coach talk about, we always tell our kids play without thinking, and they were thinking a lot up until that point. So all the way until week 6. We were doing a lot of thinking, and so it took a while to get things rolling. But and as you can see, this is inside zone to the left, like Tim was saying, split side. If you watch our play side guard or left guard, he should have his eyes he shouldn't even be given a hand. He's working. He should be taking a step from the left, and he's going to tempo it to the second level. Now that was probably our biggest kid. He's also the ones that we really had to work on bending. As you can see, he's way too tall. He was way too fast at the second level. Because the back will bring the backers to you. So we want to tempo it. And hopefully as the clips roll on, we get it, and you see as the weeks progress, you'll see that things get a little bit tighter, a little bit better.
Okay, here's a different look. We got a 3-14. They're playing cover 1. Looks like a 4-2 box right now. Just walked out their outside backer. Again, pre-snap, got man coverage. It's too close to throw a bubble. We don't like it throwing this when the DBs are this close, so it just becomes a post-snap reading at the end. Obviously, again, what else we like with the zone, with the bubble, is getting rid of defenders. You have to man up or pull them out of the box. One less guy to block.
And the other thing, if you watch our QB, so you want to make sure when we go, the mesh is hip to hip. So for the QB, it's hip to hip, and we were just meeting with a staff last week that was asking some questions. And how does the running back know? You've heard like you feel the back of the hand. We run it every day, and it just becomes a feel. But you want to go make sure it's hip to hip, so you do get used. That's selling it. And then the other thing that Alec, our QB, and he got better as you wore on too, is make sure that you're accelerating out of the mesh, and it becomes a natural block then. In years past, we would have quarterbacks just hand it and stand. Well, that's pretty easy for the DN not knowing that QB doesn't have it. So, what's the point then? So make sure if you're going to run, if you're going to get a gun and you're running inside zone, you really have to coach up, accelerating out of the mesh. And with inside zone, with what we do, we can push the count. So we can go ahead and push. If you're looking up on the board that Tim has drawn there, if we're running inside zone to the right, we can designate who 0 is. And we can push it all the way to the 3 technique, it can become 0, and then the angles change, and it becomes, it almost looks more gap, and we just call it our mash technique. And with our RPOs, we will push the count often, and that's the whole point that as we got better in understanding the whole inside zone run game, is that we realized we want to maximize our double teams. That's it. That's what we're trying to do. Now, if you got little dudes, in past, we would go, like I said, with Leach's approach, and went wide splits, and it became just man blocks, and we were like little pit bulls and just hanging on. But but now we feel like we have a little bit better understanding. We're just, no matter what front we see, we want to maximize the double teams, and so we will push the count and be able to do that. So if you go ahead, you'll see our center does a great job with his eyes and coming off, because that backer's coming, and that's our center. This was the fastest center that we had. He's a rugby player. He's tough as hell. And this was week 6, right?
Yeah.
So, and our backside guard, our right guard, he was a kid that played right on that line. Sometimes a little, sometimes crossing, but he was nasty, and he would stay on contact until the very end, and maybe got away with a little hold there.
Again, with what Coach was talking about, the quarterback, he does a good job initially. That one step holds him. Ideally, we'd like him to continue to carry that out. But just that one little step did help hold that at the end, just for that split second, just for our back to go ahead and make an arm tackle miss.
The next clip, so what teams do, what do they do on the backside then? They scrape exchange. And so if we see a team that is scrape exchange team, and why we call it an 18-inch cutoff, because I heard it from University of Oregon. So if you start to see pre-snap, and here we go with a long count, we're going with our check tempo, the DN rocks, and so we get a sneak peek, we get a preview that DN's rocking into that B gap, and the wheel's coming around. So the backside tackle is responsible, he's your sifter. So he's got to cut off the B gap, and we told him all week, they will do this, and if we see it, we're gonna hit a home run, and we did, 55-yard touchdown, and then you feel pretty smart as a coach, and kids are coming over to the sideline, and say, hey, well, you told us. Yep, didn't really think they were gonna hit the home run, but our kid on the backside here did a great job seeing it, and then there's no one left. There's no one left for cutback, as you'll see.
Here we got double bubble on both sides. Again, we're controlling the safeties here, our outside backer. By widening them, they're playing man coverage. Obviously, you can control and get less guys in the box to tackle.
So right now, that was the DN kind of rocks. Our backside tackle does a great job cutting them off, goes around, and our little guy can scoop.
For the quarterback, when we get straight exchange, he's not necessarily reading the DN, he's reading the area. So he's reading the C-gap player, they exchange gaps, that's an easy give read for him.
And we work at times, the beauty of also just being a zone team is that it's all the same for everyone. So tight end, he's covered, tackles uncovered. Now, so what we work is we just call pods, and I'm sure we all do it. But it's just 2-on-2, and we give them every look that they're going to see that week. And it's just getting that feel when to come off. And we always take care of first level first. We want 4 hands on first level, 4 eyes on second level. And that was the biggest thing to get guys to understand a zone double team versus a gap double team. And we kept early, like in the first 2 weeks, they wanted to turn their shoulders back instead of working to the play side and coming off. But then once we got things rolling, it just became a natural feel. And you guys did a nice job picking it up.
And just going kind of back off, talking about the scrape exchange, when we're working our inside run drill, you know, I'm standing behind the quarterback, again, same kind of deal, and we are moving pieces on the D, because we don't, obviously our kids aren't going to learn all the blitzes during the week. During playoffs, when we get some extra time, kids learn the blitzes, but we're back here, and we literally are pointing out to the kids where they're moving. So if we got a slant on, we'll move the kids, and the scrape exchange, it's just a great way to stand behind the O-line and move kids, and get them to where you want them to go. Because if you don't tell them to move, they're just going to probably stand there, and everything looks really good.